Welcome to the Thrive Table, an aspect of the Wire to Thrive podcast where we have conversations with guests around things we are talking about on the Wire to Thrive podcast. I'm Michael Adote, a Wire to Thrive podcast host, where we focus on the mind, purpose, and leadership. And joining me today is someone who isn't intimidated to stand by her beliefs and also live them out. Petra Abba-Asamoah is a marketer, author, and a corporate leader with nearly 2 decades of experience across industries as diverse as aviation, media, textiles, and cybersecurity. She has recently been appointed as the board chairperson of the Ghana Post Company Limited, where she hopes to bring her expertise in strategy and leadership in service to the nation. Petra, you're welcome to the Thrive Table.
Thank you very much, Michael. I'm so excited to be here.
Happy to have you too. So we are going to continue with our conversation and we are moving on to success. Success is really where I don't want to use the word check the box, but it's where something becomes tangible. Beliefs, aspirations, and all the things we've been talking about, they often start in the mind. It's conceived when we're alone. There's nobody around us to guide us or to lead us. But when success shows, there's a book, there's an achievement, there's a milestone, I started walking and I've done 10 kilometers of walking, and then Petra will take a shot of her watch. It's because she started a journey and she's completed that journey. That's what we are going to focus the second part of our conversations on today. And the first thing I want to touch on with you, Petra, is there are certain things we start and they are an end. So I set out to, let's say, help people in sales. But you'll notice quickly that the book wasn't the end. And it had to generate into training and pushing the material out there. And I still hear you talking about Sales 101. So it's never ended. So how do we distinguish between success that is just a means and then success that is an end? So the end is I've achieved it, it's done. But charting a path where we are pursuing success that is actually leading us on to greater things. How do we navigate or tell how to focus?
I generally think about success as legacy. And I think about it in 3 levels.
Okay.
I think about it using the model of Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the 4th level, the rest of the world.
Okay.
So I always think that when I think about what's my version of success, it's first of all, how does this impact my immediate environment?
Okay.
And then how do I extend it to the next level? So for me, it's never really just let's do the task and be done. I think even when I'm working in an organization, when I leave, what's the next person going to have as a stepping stone to move forward?
Based on what you started.
Based on what I started. So I build with that mindset that there's someone else who's going to come into this space and going to ask, what did she do? What did she leave for us?
Yeah.
And how can I use that as a stepping stone? I think that development, for instance, is a relay. Growth is a relay. Building is a relay. What parts do I have to play to make it easier for the next person? And that was a thinking that informed the book, the 2 books actually. So Jungle Dance also, I just sat down and said, I'm turning 35, getting into 36 at the time. What are the things I want someone my age to know about my journey? And I've been very fearless about sharing because I also realize that that's not so common here. It's very easy for us to say the things that we succeeded at. Very few times do we see the things that we had difficulties with. And I've navigated so many difficulties in my career. So I've always thought that if you say success, who is it impacting? Money is important, Michael. Trust me, I like money. Money is important. But it's a means rather than an end. It's to make you less desperate.
Yeah.
It's to make you less hungry, because when you're desperate and hungry, you don't think very well.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the natural, if you're hungry and somebody's talking to you about important things, like, can I just, I just want to
I
eat.
just want to eat.
So if you can get your mind out of that and think more of impact, think more of how can I make somebody else's journey easier? How can I leave? And it doesn't have to be like a major thing. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to build a house, even though you should if that's something you want to do. But it's in when I worked with you, I got to understand myself a bit better.
Okay.
I got to understand the process a bit better. One of the highest points in my career was a few years ago. A former colleague of mine sent me a message and said she had just gone through a very difficult incident at work. And her manager had told her, just say you did it, even though you didn't do it, so that we can get through this period. Because it was, he said, she said, she hadn't done something, she had been told, yes. And she said to him, if Petra was here, she would never tell me to say something I had done, I hadn't done. And so she sent me a message and said, I had been taught about integrity, but you lived integrity in the workplace for me to see. That inspired me. Because it's difficult. I mean, integrity is one of the most difficult values to live in an environment where there's commercial implications, where sometimes you want to get out of situations because you feel that if I say I didn't do it, it's the easy way out. If I acknowledge that I made a mistake, then I'm viewed as, how can you make such a mistake?
Yeah.
But what I've come to realize is when you live by those principles, it's not just you. It's the other people observing, watching, observing that, yeah, she made a mistake, but she took responsibility for it. And then she's made sure that it doesn't happen again.
That's it.
So I typically tell people I work with, don't just say I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I worked with someone who, she did something, she came and said she was sorry, and I said, I don't want to hear I'm sorry. Yeah. I want us to think about your thinking process. Yeah. What was your thought process when you went through that incident? When you got to the junction, what made you decide to go left rather than right? Yes. Let's address that. Because that's the root of the issue. Because if we don't address that, we'll have this conversation again. You come back and say, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So if we don't have a proper debrief, we will have the same issue. So I really, really just think about success as what's the impact? What's the next person going to get out of this, rather than money is good, recognition is very important, visibility is good, but the other people, I mean, to every one person who likes a comment or buys a book, there are 10 other people who are impacted. So somebody's going to read your book and just decide that I don't want to be a toxic boss. Because the toxic boss in Petra's book didn't end well. I think I fit that bill. Let me order my steps. Let me rearrange it for exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. And I think what you've said about success for me is very spot on. Thinking beyond yourself. And that's the conversation we've been having around the Sinosure. It's not just about the attention, but it's about the impact we have on people. Sometimes that impact takes years to manifest itself, like you've just shared about this friend. So just on the journey of success, can you just share an experience where you were trying to do something, you recognize that I don't have the frame of mind or the discipline to drive this. How did you pivot to actually end up doing the thing? Or when have you actually said, I tried to do this, it's not working, I think I have to stop and maybe adjust where necessary in the journey of success?
Maybe not stop, but find help. And I want to talk about my relationship with you.
Okay.
So when I was turning 40, I got a mind frame of, am I at the right place? Am I doing the right things? Have I done enough? You know, the pressure of life begins at 40. It can really get overwhelming. And so I just got into that thought process of,
were you speaking to people? All this
it
was internal.
Internal, okay. Michael. I mean, my inner critic is loud. Wow. Very, very loud. And I counter the inner critic by I call it the two voices, self-doubts and then the possibility voice.
Okay.
I draw on past achievements, things that I've seen possible in other places, and I tell myself, and there have even been times where I've said, it's never been done doesn't mean it can't be done.
Yeah.
You know, you don't
So
have
even
an
if you don't have a
example. Even
reference
if I don't have a
point, you
reference
still.
point, yes. And what about if I'm supposed to be somebody's reference point? So why not?
So
Yes.
why not? Okay.
But so that period just made me so conscious because you're thinking, hey, 40, that's a big age. That's a really big age. But we had just done the Living on Purpose course. And then it recalibrated my mind to what's important. And then what are the signposts of you're on the right path. And then we had the sessions.
Yeah.
And in those sessions, you made me rethink what's your voice? Who's your audience? What's your wilderness?
Yeah.
Things like that. So it wasn't that I was stopping or I needed to pivot. I just needed the assurance.
Yeah, that
yes.
I'm
And
on
that's
the
one of
right
the
path.
things that I'm on the right path. And that's one of the things I want to encourage, that for someone like me who seems to have it all figured out, I don't have it all figured out. There have been different points in my life where I've had to get assistance from people who I believe have the right skill sets and the right ability to
In
help
the
me
moment,
navigate that
yeah,
period.
yeah.
So I would pay for your service to coach me,
Yeah.
because at that period, that's what I needed. When I was writing my first book, I had a life coach who I
Was
paid for his
working,
time to work me
yeah.
through that process, keeping me accountable on a daily basis. I was sending him updates on how many
What you're
words I had
doing.
written.
Okay.
And there was a consequence if I didn't write to the targets. I've since grown out of that.
And what were some of the consequences?
I didn't get to the point of consequence. Because I was keeping on the straight and narrow. But that was it. When I saw Jennifer on your show, it was very exciting because 13 years ago, I realized that I'm not a very fashionable person. And if I say that now, you'll be surprised. But when I just had Joy, my second child, my daughter, I said I didn't really understand how to combine colors, how to, all of that was just over the top. I mean, I'm naturally a very tomboyish person, so I was always in jeans. I used to wear a lot of corduroy trousers, shirts.
I can't even.
You can't exactly, because that's a very different person from who I am now. But when I came to that awareness that something had to change, it was because I had started thinking about my journey, where I was going, the kind of personality I had to present, the kind of image I had to present. I looked around and I said, who can help me? And I found Jennifer. Jennifer Jiman, yes.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if she still does it.
She was into
image consulting, yes. So I paid for a session with Jennifer. We went through my style guide, colors,
oh my goodness,
all of that. Yes, I keep telling her that she was like a turning point for me. And she walked me through, and this is a paid session.
Yeah.
To get help to understand what's the appropriate way to present yourself. As a woman who wants to present in a certain way, what colors do the best for me? What skin tone do I have? What type of jewelry should I wear? I pay Jennifer.
I think we really have to amplify what you're saying.
Yes, I mean, coaching is such an important thing in your journey. You will not always get it free, that information free of charge from the people around you. You have to look out and find people who have the skill set that you need, pay for their time, and get it done. Get the value. So if you downplay the value of coaching, then I don't think that you're really serious about making the best out of your path, because you're going to need people's ideas. And every time I get people asking me, can I meet you? Can I sit with you? My time is money. So if you want me to talk, exactly. So if you want to talk to me about your business, that's an exchange of learning and value and knowledge I've built over time. You want that for free? No. That's not practical. So I've had coaches at different points in my life who've helped me navigate through different things, specific things. And that's one of the things that has helped me.
Yeah. I think there's a challenge with how we define help. because you've talked about help. I recognize I have a challenge and I went in for help. But people have a very limited view of what help is. The help is not for me to dump my problem on you. The
No.
help is for you to hold my hand and just help
Help me
me
navigate.
navigate
Yes.
and build strength again to
Yes.
keep going.
Yes.
So how I'm trying to phrase my question, but the question I'm phrasing is, how do people even first recognize they need help, and then second, in seeking help, how do they know what is their responsibility and what is the responsibility of the person bringing in the help? Because again, like you said, people come mentor me, coach me, help me, and I always try to tell people there's a difference between the two. And even beyond the difference, what you expect from a coach is very different from what you expect in a mentor. So how do people even position themselves to get the help they need? Because I can bring you the help you need, but if you don't connect or channel right to get the help, you can't even get the help you need. And then you'll be frustrated and get nothing out of the situation.
First thing is the mindset that nobody is going to save you. In this world, in this life that we've come to, God has
Nobody's going
placed
to
us here.
save you.
Nobody's going to save you.
Nobody's going to walk through the door.
No. There's no prince no Prince Charming coming to save you from all your troubles. People can support you, they can lend a helping hand, but nobody's going to save you. So first of all, get to that realization that this life, I'm living it. I am the main act. That's the first thing. The second thing is realize that whatever supports has to be built on something. So if you want to take a course and you want someone to pay for you, you still have to go to school and submit yourself to the course, to the learning, the discipline of waking up and going. That's on you. If you want a promotion at work, the discipline of doing the work, showing your results, that's on you. You know, so you really have to just come to the realization that you're the main act. A lot of times when my mentees come to me and say they want advice on something, it's almost as if they want you to decide for them. I immediately tell them, I'm not going to decide for you because you're the one going to bear the consequences of your decision. So sit down, look at the pros and the cons and make a decision. And decide also that when the yawa pie is on you.
It's on you. You take it.
That's it.
If you win to, you take it.
Exactly. You know, so once you come to that realization, it makes everything a bit more, you able to navigate things better. So that for me is a thing. And then when you're thinking about help, don't think that you are hopeless. Like you have nothing. It doesn't matter what stage you're in, how old you are. You're not hopeless. You're not zero. You're not a floating atom just moving around. There's something worthy with you. You're a person of value. There's intrinsic value in everyone. So there's substance already there. Someone is going to build on it. If you don't go into a coaching relationship, a mentoring relationship with some sense of value, there's a way you carry yourself. You can't be needy and gain anything of value from someone. You know, so if you position yourself as someone is coming to sponsor you, it means there's nothing for you to exchange. But even in a mentor-mentee relationship, I have a mentee now who the profile I sent to you, he wrote it. Because I've come to realize that writing my own profile is not something,
it kept coming and getting deleted.
Yes. It's something I don't want to do. You know, let somebody else who is not me write it. Let me look at it and say, okay, that pretty much says who I am. Let's go with it. It's not too flowery. It's just straight to the point. And that's a mentee. You know, and that's value he's creating for me.
He's giving you.
If he has questions, he needs me to support him on something. Of course, I'm going to do it. Not as payment, but there's somebody who's creating value. We have to think about ourselves as valuable as we are in whatever relationship is a partnership. An employment relationship, I'm creating value. My employer is paying me. That's value. I'm here for a reason. I'm not just here because somebody thought, even when someone held your hand and took you into your job, which was my case in my first job. In my first job, my adoptive father introduced me to my boss and I got a job. But it didn't mean that
You still had to do
I
the
had to
work.
prove
Yeah.
myself. I had to work. I had to show that I was worthy of that introduction.
Yeah. Because that's
So,
his reputation also.
exactly,
Yeah.
because that level of access, and it happens so much when we talk about your network, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's you relying on relationships that you have to give you access into places that
Very,
you
very
otherwise
true.
would not have gotten access to. But if you gain access and then there's no substance, then you've put the reputation of the
Yeah, of the person
person
at risk.
at risk.
Yeah.
You've created a situation for yourself, because then the conversation is not like, is that all there is? It was all nice
Yeah,
pictures, and
but
and
nothing
me,
to
I
show.
like taking nice pictures,
Yeah,
Michael.
but
You know
there's
that. But
substance
there
to.
has to be substance. It can't just be about nice pictures. It can't
Yeah,
just be about long theses on whichever
yeah,
platform. There has to
yeah,
be substance.
yeah.
You have to be the person that when people meet, you're like, oh, there's so much more
To them.
to them. There's so much more. I want to get to know this person more. I want to engage with you more.
Yeah.
You know, I have this belief. I really believe that your mind is, you come to the world with a blank mind. I think in philosophy we say it's a tabula rasa.
Yeah.
It's blank. So I don't think that there's any knowledge that you cannot add
Acquire, yeah.
if you set your
If you
mind
set
to
your,
it.
you
And that's how
can.
come my career experience has been so diverse.
Yeah,
Because
in
once I
different.
determine that, okay, this is an area that I can transfer skills. First of all, you have to have skills that you want
Yeah,
to transfer. What are the skills? Your leadership skills, your organizational skills, your ability to work well with people, your ability to create synergy,
yeah.
ability to
These
develop
are
new
things that
relationships. Those are
matter
things that matter
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah,
The industry is just something you have to
to
learn.
add on.
And once you commit yourself to it, the knowledge is
It will come.
it will come.
It will come.
Yeah.
I like what you said about help. And something struck me recently. I was reading a text in the Bible, Second Kings chapter 4, where the widow went to the man of God and was crying for help. And I noticed the man of God, Elisha, well, almost fell into the rut that I used to fall into. When I set out to start coaching and helping people, every time someone came to me with a problem, I felt like I have to jump in and help the person. When she came to the man of God to say, help me, his first instinct was, what can I do for you? Then he quickly switched and said, what do you have at home? And I think you've really summed it up with how you define help, because when people come to you for help, they are expecting you to just, what can I do for you?
Most times it's give me money.
I need money, give me. But the question he asked almost caught himself from slipping into that scenario, and also challenged the lady in question to go back and say, what do I really have? And even in saying what she had, I have nothing but a jar of oil. But that jar of oil became the redemption. And so all of us have value.
Yes.
All of us have a jar of oil, or even if you'd like to call it nothing but a jar of oil, it can become the very thing that makes a difference in your life. So, really grateful you shared that experience. But in trying to weave the three together, we've talked about beliefs. You shared so much about your beliefs. And I think what your dad did in helping you not to place limitations on your gender purely from a place of ability was really something that sets the tone in the conversation. And then we've talked about aspirations, which the fallback for me was the book Sales 101. There was a frustration you had. Someone tried to sell you something. You were not happy about it, but it set you off on a journey. A journey that wasn't guaranteed will succeed. It was just working through whatever came.
Yeah.
And even when it appeared success had come, Petra had launched the book. I was at the launch.
Yeah.
Happy to see the launch, happy to see the book, only for you to tell me 1,000 copies are at home waiting to be sold. That was another level of aspiration where you have to drive
Work
the
through.
sales. And now we've talked about success, some of the things you've been able to do and achieve. How do we get the three to work together?
So because we are multi-dimensional, I think that's what works for me is just getting to the point of calmness. because that's what helps you reflect properly on what are your beliefs. And you mentioned at the beginning that beliefs sometimes are on a spectrum.
Yeah.
So there are things that I believed when I was much, much younger. I've adjusted my beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And the things I said, I would never do that.
You may
That
have
you begin like,
why did I take this
maybe
position?
exactly. Why did I take this position? And one of the things I do on the lighter side is I consistently look at my memories on Facebook and read things I had written in the past.
Okay.
And as a reflection of where was my mindset?
Yeah.
Am I still the person I am now? Were there things I'm not very happy I wrote and I delete them? I delete them.
Okay.
Okay. So you really need to get the point of calmness and how are all of these things aligning for you? Because your beliefs will drive you.
Yeah.
Your aspirations will pull you.
Yeah.
And then success is what makes you sit at the end of the day and say, well done.
Okay.
And the definition of success for me is what I feel that we really need to think and talk about. Because we have made it very materialistic. And I say to young people that your life is not a performance. We're not in a reality show. Even though it seems like it's with social media and everything. It's real life.
With consequences.
With consequences. With real people that you love. Real people that are concerned about you. And yes, those real people may be your fans or your followers on social media. They're real people. I mean, they're places I've been to and someone just says, oh, I know you from Facebook. I know you from
you've never met
LinkedIn.
the
I've never
person
met
before.
them. And they're willing to assist. They're willing to support. They're willing to make it easier for me in whatever I'm doing. So they're real people. They're real people being impacted, real people asking questions and getting answers. But you really have to think that beyond all of this, when I'm alone in that moment of calmness, what is it?
What does success
What does success mean to me? A mentor of mine told me a few months ago, and I was talking to him about something I wanted to do. And he listened, and said, Petra, I'm going to ask you one question. And I know it's a difficult question, but if you can answer this question, everything else will seem easier. And he asked, what do you think is missing in your life? Yeah.
These are questions you can't answer.
No.
You have to go home.
You have to go home and answer. And I was like, I was quiet. And for a few minutes, I was like, wow.
What am I missing?
What am I missing? What are you missing? What's missing from your life?
What are you missing?
And when he said that, I said, I've never really thought about that because I'm a very happy person.
Yeah.
I'm a very optimistic person. I think about all the things that I have, that I'm grateful to God for. I live in a constant state of gratitude. So why would I think about what I don't have? And he said, think about that because that's what you need to work towards. And all the things that you're telling me, think about what is missing. What do you wish you had?
That's the missing piece.
That's a missing piece. And that's what you should work towards. At this point in your life, that's what you should work towards. Everything else doesn't matter. Work towards what that thing is. And once I went back and I thought about it, I was like,
thank God for people.
Yes. So you really need to be, and association is important. In this journey, association is important. Even when I say I don't ask for permission to do things or validation, there are people whose words carry so much weight that you need to talk to them to be sure. So if I come and I say I want to spend time with you as a coach, you being a coach, it's because there's a framework you've worked through that can help me navigate some of the things I'm thinking about. And one of the very good things I took away from that encounter was we decided that we're not going to wait for a year to reflect. It wasn't going to be a birthday thing. It was going to be the 24th of every month is a day to reflect. And I've kept that for 2 years, Michael.
Wow.
And 24th of every month, I sit down, I think, how has this month been? What have you done? What didn't you do? How can it be better? And it's become a very good day for me. It's like good things happen to me on the 24th.
You've gone a full cycle.
Yes.
1 month in addition.
Yes.
What have I done?
And that's also about consistency. Yeah. Why wait for a year to sit down and cry that, a year has gone past. I don't know. I've not done what I don't know what I've done with the time.
That's true.
So on my best dates every month, I sit down and reflect. And I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have the encounter with you. You know, so in trying to put those three together, your beliefs, think about who you associate with, choose very intentionally those people because they magnify sometimes your inner voice.
Yeah.
Even sometimes the sense of self-doubt. If you go and tell somebody the wrong person what you want to do and they say, hey, nobody has ever done it. In this
Yes.
family, we don't do that. It just
They've
amplifies your
amplified your
inner
fear.
voice, your
Yeah.
fears. But if you speak to someone who asks you, what are you missing?
He's forcing you to dig
It's
deeper.
deeper. So this is not a conversation for now. You're
Yeah.
looking at the surface. The reason why you're talking and talking, and I spoke for like 10 minutes non-stop.
He
He
just
just
listened.
calmly listened and said, okay, I've heard you. I want you to go and think about what are you missing. And that's what I want you to build
Yeah.
towards for the next phase. Yeah.
I mean, in the work I do, we've recently come up with a product called the Mind Tracker. And it just forces people to become aware of their dominant thoughts. And when they become aware of it, one of the questions I ask is, can you see how it's manifesting in your life?
Yes.
And tracking your mind means paying attention to what is feeding you, what is driving your actions, what is driving your habits, what is driving your behavior, which people are not doing. So when you talk about reflection and just being calm, I think that's where a lot of people are missing themselves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are struggling
Yeah.
because there's no way they can figure out what is wrong with them because they are not pausing to just, what am I thinking about? Why is this happening in my life? What do I need to do differently? And building life from there. So,
And once you do the mind audits, so your thoughts audits, determine what you want to change about it. So your thoughts are like pictures. You have these thoughts, sometimes are negative thoughts. Like there have been times where I'm walking up a stage and then the image of what about if you fall down?
yes,
I'm like, how will I fall down?
I fall
Why will
down.
I fall
Of all
down?
the thoughts that
Of
could
all the
come.
thoughts, yes. Or what about if you go on stage and you forget everything you're supposed to say? So those are thoughts. Those are real thoughts. And then you throw the thoughts away and say, no, I'll do well.
Yeah. And
I'm going
that's
to
it.
go on stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk calmly. I'm going to speak clearly and I'll do well. And maybe everybody might not like it, but somebody in the
Somebody
audience
will find value
will
in
find
it.
value in
That's
it. And that's okay.
That's true.
So you need to take charge of that and take charge of your thoughts. Surround yourself with people who are intentionally aligned to where you're going.
Yeah.
Because if you are surrounded by small-minded people who can't see it, they will always keep you
low.
low. Or people who are threatened by your success. That's another thing. Because you can have very successful friends, but they don't want you to be successful like them. Because maybe they like you being around and being free for them to send you everywhere. Oh, if I call Akosia, she can go and get me this. They don't want you. So if you decide that you want to turn that errand, them consistently sending you on errands into a business, like, who gave you the audacity to want to? That's it. So your associations are key. The content you expose yourself to.
That's key.
Very important. Because all of these things create the images that you see in your mind.
Yeah.
So there are things I just don't pay attention to. There's information you ask me about what's going on with this, I don't know. There are times I block out, is out, it's completely out because it's not going to feed into anything. I tell people that what's that knowledge going to do for me if it's going to create a negative impact in my life? Nothing. I don't need it. So there's that. So the contents, the associations, how you spend your time, a commitment to more self-awareness, knowing what helps you, knowing what you're not good at. Be very confident with what you're good at. And be confident also about what you're not good at.
Yeah.
I mean, recently I was telling somebody that there's this particular task they wanted me to do at work. I was like, that's not my area.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm excited about. I have no interest in it. It's not something I want to do. So I'm going to delegate it to someone else. And it's okay. I mean, if you look at me funny, that's on you. I can't do it.
Honest.
I'm being honest, And we need to get to that point of self-awareness where if it's not working, it's not working.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to change about this because I'm not going to become a different human being overnight.
Yeah.
I'm wired in a certain way. There are things I would never see the beauty of. You know, I recently started getting interested in plants. I wouldn't have thought about it some years ago. I say now maybe because I'm growing older, there are things that just come with that,
Yeah.
but there are things like maybe extreme sports don't excite me.
It
It,
may
it, it
never,
it
it
will
never
never,
will.
yes. So I would like adventure, but not extreme sports.
Yeah.
I don't want to go speeding in any way.
Yeah. That's just
That's
not you.
not my
Yeah.
thing. I think my longest walk has been 17 kilometers, but I don't think, I've been thinking now about if I want to run a marathon. I'm not sure. Because running is a different thing
Yeah, it's a
altogether.
different thing altogether.
But the things I just don't have any desire for, any aspiration towards. And I've come to the point where I feel that it's okay
to
to
be,
be like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you feel that you have to do things to fit in, to align. But as I've grown older, and 40 is a beautiful age, you come to the full realization of yourself that it's okay to just be
Unapologetic.
unapologetic. If you don't like me like that, sorry, it's not my problem. I'm not apologizing for that. I'm okay. I want to constantly improve. There are great things about me that if you want to be my friend, let's focus on those things.
Yeah.
And if the negative things are deal breakers for you, it's okay. We don't have to be friends. We don't have to be in this partnership. It's okay. Let's just agree that no, but I'm not going to constantly hear you talking about what I'm not good at. And that's going to become the main thing. No, it's de-energizing, it's draining. So you really want to just be aligned with what gives you energy, what drives you, and focus on that. Focus on that. Because if you keep, when people talk about like a SWOT analysis, I really just say that, know about your weaknesses. But why do you want to amplify that?
Focus on your strengths.
Focus on your strengths. Build on your strengths. Your weaknesses will always be there. It's how you're wired. I was telling you about how I'm very energetic in the morning and almost useless at night.
After 3 p.m., it's like you're tired.
So when people invite me out, friends say, "Oh, let's go and hang out," I'm like,
Once it's late
night, I'm not driving halfway across town for anything. I love you, but I'm not doing it. Sami is the main recipient of this. Like, he just knows that. No, I've gone to the movies with him and I've fallen asleep. Because I love my sleep.
Yeah.
So we need to find things that are fully aligned. There's compromise, definitely. If when you love somebody, you try and compromise for them, adjust for them. But you can't go fully out of your personality.
It's self-awareness.
And yes, and anything that tries to push you out of your personality completely is going to frustrate you. It's not healthy. There'll be burnout. You actually can't get sick, So I say to introverts that you need visibility, you need social engagement for your journey. You can't be a hermit. If you think about any real successful writer in the previous generation, so the Wole Soyinkes, the Chinua Achebes, Buchi Emecheta, Amata Edus, they were people who you didn't see in the public eye. Because writing is such an introspective skill that you need a lot of time. So I take time away to just go somewhere alone and write.
Just write,
But I live in an environment and in a society where I cannot be a hermit in my dispensation. I would have loved to live in the middle of the forest somewhere and just be there alone.
I have to show up.
But I have to show up. My books will not sell themselves. I have to go out and engage my readers. I have to engage. I work in a fully commercial environment where I need to meet clients. So whether I want to or not, I can't say that I have to show up. And that's why I need to ask myself, and that's why I needed Jennifer's help. How do I show up for the part I want to play?
And even that showing up the way that resonates with
exactly.
who you are.
So that thing, yes. So you can't just say that there's a trend. So I want to jump on every trend. It has to be aligned with you. Otherwise, you'll be uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, you can't be your best self. So I would say that fully being self-aware is the goal. It's a journey. So as you go, you realize that I don't do very well when I'm full. Maybe if I'm going to speak, I shouldn't have gone and had a heavy meal. It disorients you. And then you also don't want to be too hungry. All of these things are self-awareness. You don't want to be too tired. So if you're very tired, there are people who can run on a very tight schedule, no breaks. And then they take like one long break. I've never been able to sleep like the whole day.
That's just not
That's
you.
just not me. I'm not the type of person who can sit through the whole night studying. So when I was in uni, I would study every day because
Without piling up
without
the,
piling up
yeah.
everything. I'm not someone who does very well with
Under
the
that
last
kind of,
minute pressure of
yeah.
studying. So I would lie in my bed and read. And at the time when it's getting ready, we're ready for exam, I know that I've
You
read the
can
whole
deliver.
material. I can
Yeah.
deliver. So you see me in the library, but it's for 30 minutes on one
And you're
subject,
done.
30 minutes on another subject, 2 hours in all, I'm done, I'm gone. So really just being aware of who you are, what your abilities are, how to function fully, how you're wired. And this is
Yeah.
where the Living on Purpose course really, really helped. It just made me more confident that I needed to settle in
Yeah.
myself. It was
So
okay. I mean, you
important.
keep talking about how you're wired, how you're wired.
Yeah.
That's it. If you don't accept yourself, there's nothing else,
Nobody can
really.
help
Nobody can
you.
help you.
Nobody can help you.
Yeah.
Nobody can help you. So, I mean, it's been a very, very engaging conversation. I just want to give you an opportunity to share your final thoughts. If there's anything you want to say to anybody out there who maybe feels stuck or they are in motion, but they need a push to go harder, or somebody who is just starting out and doesn't really know what to expect. I mean, anything on your heart you want to say as a
Okay.
pattern.
So for the person starting out, I would say that take it from us who've been on the journey for a while that you'll be fine. It doesn't look like it right now. You might be struggling, but you'll be fine if you do the work. Sit down and reflect on the type of picture you see for your future and begin to map out the intentional, small, but steady steps you have to take to get you there. The courses, the relationships you have to build, the relationships you have to discontinue. Think about it in that way. The second thing I'll say is think about yourself as a person of value. You are intrinsically somebody who is worthy. All of us have value. There's something in your hands. So the story of the woman, the widow with oil, there's Moses with the rod in his hands, there's me who I felt like I heard an audible voice that said, what you have
What
in
do you
your
have?
hands, you have something that you can build on. If you're feeling stuck, think about how you can navigate yourself out of that space. Don't ever feel like you're hopeless. If you get the point of hopelessness, then that's where there's a real big problem. So just look at, there can be a very small space that you can use to navigate out of that space of you being feeling stuck. So that's what I'll say. And at the end of everything, think really that you're here for a reason and there's an ultimate goal beyond just yourself. There are people who would be blessed because of your presence, your contribution, and you have to do what you have to do for them also. And in everything, reflect consistently on your why. Your motive is, I feel for me, the most important thing. If you get the motive wrong, everything else will be wrong. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Petra. And there's something we do on the Thrive table. Everybody we invite, there's usually a backstory. So I'm going
Okay.
to share a little backstory about Petra. I've known Petra for about 8 years now, and it was in the line of serving at church that we met, and we've been in touch since. Petra has a unique ability to inspire action. That's just what I love about her. If she tries something, if she does something, if she loves something, you have to be sure she's going to talk about it. And once she talks about it, it's not because she thinks it's cool, but it's because she's gone through it and she's a big fan of it and usually does it even without provocation. And I have been a beneficiary to that. The first time I ever did a YouTube video, I got a message from her saying, "You really sound like my pastor. I think you should continue doing that." The second time was when I launched my Living on Purpose course, and I got to see somebody message me early in the morning. For some reason, our chats are usually between 4 or 5 a.m. Now I understand she's a morning person. So I got a message. I'm trying to purchase the course. Can you show me how I can purchase it? And then just like that, the person purchases the course and she goes on to take the course and actually recommends the course. I didn't ask for it, but that's just who she is. And that's something that I wanted to really take time to celebrate her for.
Thank you,
So
Michael. Thank
continue
you.
to inspire people to take action and drive momentum.
Mhm.
We need momentum. We need to be in the motion and we don't have to stop. So thank you so much, Petra.
Thank you. Thank you for this conversation. It's been very engaging and empowering for me also. It's always good to engage with you. So
Thank you.
thank you. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So don't forget to visit our website. It's poimenleadership.org. One word, poimenleadership.org. So we come your way again. Stay in closed circuits to keep the insights to master your mind, live on purpose, and lead diligently flowing into your life.